that sometimes we have to become creative when we want people to follow and accept the truth. That sometimes pure rational arguments and rational discussions may not be effective. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. As we covered earlier, Ibrahim alayhi salam was endowed with rushd, this guidance, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and maturity. And as a result of this rushd, from a very young age, he recognized, acknowledged, and affirmed the existence and oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he submitted and surrendered himself to him totally and completely. And not only did Ibrahim alayhi salam have faith, but he had yaqeen. He had certainty. He was absolutely 100% certain in the existence, oneness, might, power, glory, and magnificence of Allah. And as a result of this certainty, he came up with a very ingenious, wise, and creative method of opening his community's eyes to the truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He captures this method in Surah Al-An'am. Basically, He came up with a method of gradually opening His community's eyes to the existence and might of Allah and the weakness and false nature of what they believed in. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. And we showed Ibrahim alayhi salam the wonders of the heavens and the earths so that he could be a person of certainty. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His infinite divine wisdom, He showed Ibrahim alayhi salam some of the wonders and marvels of this universe. And as a result, his faith, his iman, it developed into certainty, into yaqeen. And now that he had that yaqeen, he wanted to convince his community and open their eyes to the truth. So he would engage them in a conversation that was designed to gradually bring them along. So Allah tells us, فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. When the night started to come upon them, he saw a star. And he said, هَذَا رَبِّي, this is my Lord. So he's saying this in front of his community, that he's standing among them, perhaps he's with them in the evening, and when the night started to come about, he saw a star. And he said, هَذَا رَبِّي, perhaps the star is my Lord. It seems to be something independent, it's magnificent. Perhaps people in his community worship stars as well. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. But when it set, when it disappeared, he said, I do not love things that set and disappear. So basically, he is insinuating to his community that a God, something that is worshipped, something that you devote yourself to, it can't have any weakness. It can't have any shortcoming in blessing. It's not something that appears and then disappears. It's not something that can be overpowered or overshadowed. So he said, I don't like things that disappear and set. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. When he saw the moon coming up in the sky, he said, this is my Lord. That the moon is larger, it's more magnificent than a star, it's brighter, it's more radiant, it has this beautiful, luminous, magnifying light, that perhaps this is my Lord. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ. But when it set, when it disappeared, he said, لَإِن لَمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِينَ. That if my Lord doesn't guide me towards the truth, then I will be among the misguided people. So again, he is implying to his community that the moon can't be a god. This is something that appears and disappears. It's something that has been overpowered, it's been overcome. It has a weakness to it. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي هَذَا أَكْبَرُ. And when he saw the sun rising, he said, this is my Lord, because it's the greatest. Right? When he saw the sun, he exclaimed to the people that this must be the true God. It's the brightest, it's the largest, it's the most magnificent. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ. But when it set, قَالَ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تُشْرِكُونَ. When it set, he declared with absolute certainty that I am free of anything that you associate with Allah. That none of these created things can be a creator. None of these created things can be a God. They are not deserving of worship, devotion, obedience, and submission. That is irrational. It is absurd. إِنِّي وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Rather, I have turned my face to the one who originated the heavens and the earth, firm and upright, and I'm not among the polytheists. I'm not among those who associate partners with Allah. So at the end, he openly and bravely, courageously declares what the truth is. That as for me personally, I have turned my face. I have submitted myself in devotion, obedience, servitude. I have surrendered myself to the one who originated the heavens and the earth, the creator of the sun, the creator of the moon, the creator of the stars. Hanifa, I'm steadfast and upright upon this belief. وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and I'm not among the polytheists. This is a very beautiful incident that highlights the wisdom, maturity, knowledge, understanding, and creativity of Ibrahim alayhi salam in opening his community's eyes to the truth. That sometimes we have to become creative when we want people to follow and accept the truth. That sometimes pure rational arguments and rational discussions may not be effective. That's when we have to go back to the lab and we have to become a little bit more creative and ingenious and come up with methods and ways that will truly open up people's eyes. But perhaps beyond that, and more important in this verse, we are being encouraged to use our minds, to use our intellect to reflect on the beauty and magnificence of Allah's creation. And this is a common theme throughout the entire Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages humanity. He encourages us as human beings to use our mind, to think, ponder, and reflect. And every single thing in this universe is an ayah. It is a sign. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He refers to every single created thing in this universe and the universe itself as ayat, these signs. And the purpose of a sign is to give us direction. And the signs of this universe, they are pointing us towards the direction of Allah. They will lead us to the only logical conclusion, that there has to be a creator behind this magnificent universe. This universe that's full of these marvels and wonders. This universe that's running on this precise, exact system. And that is something that Allah encourages in the Quran. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, that when we look at the sun, when we look at the stars, when we look at the moon, when we look at all of these other celestial bodies, when we look into a telescope and observe all of these galaxies, these billions of galaxies that exist in this universe, when you look at the birds in the sky, the clouds, the sky itself, the rain falling down from the sky, when you look at the creation of the earth with all of its variances, with its peaks and valleys and mountains, rivers, oceans, trees, when you look at all of these things and the diversity of life, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ, that truly in that are several signs, لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, for people of intellect, for people of understanding. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's encouraging us to use our minds, to use our intellect, to reflect upon the creation of the heavens and the earth and the changing of night and day. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Truly, indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation, in the changing of night and day, there are several signs for the people of reason, for the people of intellect and understanding. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself is saying that if you study and you observe the heavens, whether it's the sun, the moon, the stars, other celestial bodies, these billions of galaxies that exist in the universe, when you observe birds flying through the air, when you look at the clouds moving through the sky, when you observe rain being formed and pouring down onto this earth, when you look at the earth itself and all of its variations, the mountains and the valleys, the rivers, oceans, lakes and wells, when you look at the diversity of life on this earth, and when you look at the changing of night and day, this is something we observe every single day of our lives, that in the morning the sun rises, in the evening the sun sets, that the night transitions into the day transitions into the night. In all of these things, la ayat, there are several signs. لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, for the people of intellect, reason, and understanding. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was amongst ulul albab. Ibrahim alayhi salam was a person of reason, of intellect. And he used his reason, he used his intellect, not only to recognize, acknowledge, and affirm the truth, but also to convince his community of the truth as well. وصلى اللهم على نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.